There are two reasons why you are not wealthy. One is it's the way that you think about money, your mindset when it comes to money. The second thing is your actions or your habits. Wealthy people have totally different habits and beliefs when it comes to money. I use these actions and habits of the last 4 years to 10x my net worth and quit my great corporate job, retire with passive income. And I really want for you the same, for you to be able to grow your wealth, to be able to think differently about money, and to be able to achieve your financial dreams. We're going to talk about that in 3 simple steps on how you can be on your way to financial freedom and becoming wealthy. All right, so my name is Bronson Hill. I'm the CEO of Bronson Equity. We do a lot of investing in multifamily. I want to talk today about harmful beliefs that can be keeping you from achieving your financial dreams. So that's step number 1. There's really 2 things. One is our beliefs and the other is our habits when it comes to money. Because if you have the wrong beliefs, particularly beliefs around money, you're not going to be able to develop wealth. You're not going to be able to attract it. You're not going to be able to create it. And you're not going to be able to keep it, because wealthy is not if you have money or not. Wealthy is your mindset. It's who you are. It's more of an identity rather than that you have stuff or you have money. So there's this great book out here called Mindset. You can check it out. It's by Carol Dweck. And it basically compares 2 things. It's the idea of a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. And I want you to see, you can see on this chart here, you have the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. The fixed mindset is limiting. It avoids challenges, ignores feedback. They're threatened by other successes, desires to look smart, gives up easily. It's the idea of fixed abilities, that you are who you are, nothing ever changes. You're wealthy or you're not. You're gifted or you're not. You're skilled or you're not. There's nothing that can change. You look at the left-hand side of that column, it says something totally different. It says the growth mindset is freedom. It perseveres in the face of failures. Effort is required to develop new skills, finds inspiration in other successes, accepts criticism, desires to learn. So really, I want you to think about this about yourself. Are you someone who has an open mindset that's really willing to learn something new? And obviously, I think you probably are, because you're watching this video. But sometimes we all need a reminder that, we're not victims, right? We're not simply the victim of our circumstances. We're not somebody who is just, we either have the ability or we don't. We can change and we can grow. And this is really, really, really important when it comes to wealth. And the reason I say, Brian Tracy has this quote, and he says, if you want to earn more, you must learn more. And it's really, really true. So again, if people that I respect that earn a lot, they typically are reading all the time. They're learning. They're always trying to get new information. So good job on being on this video, because it's going to help you to get there. So I want to talk about 3 things real quick. Toxic wealth beliefs. These are things that will actually keep you from becoming wealthy, or if you had money, you would find a way to spend it and you would no longer be wealthy. So these things are things that will really harm you. The first is that money is evil, or rich people are evil. And this is one I had to wrestle with, because I just thought, man, people that are wealthy, these Wall Street people, or people that live in mansions, they're just taking so much more than everybody else. It's really this idea of the pie, right? We have the pie as a fixed pie, and there's only so many pieces to go around. If this person has something, it means I don't have it. So, if you find yourself seeing somebody with a really nice car or a nice house or taking fancy trips, and you think, oh man, I wish that was me, whatever, you have to change your mindset, because again, this is a scarcity mindset, right? The pie is only so big. If they have, it means I can't have. But an abundant mindset basically says, hey, that's great that they have. Maybe we can do a deal together. Maybe I can learn from them. Maybe I can grow, and the pie can actually get bigger, which is one of the amazing things about wealth, and some amazing things about money, is that it actually is not fixed supply. We can create more wealth by helping each other out. So another thing that has to do with that is this. I was raised a Christian religious background, and the idea that that money is evil, right? The idea, there's a quote that says, "Oh, the money, money is evil." This idea of pursuing money. But really, what it says in this particular passage is the love of money is the root of many kinds of evil. And so the idea of, like, if you put money ahead of people, or you put money ahead of your values, then that's a problem. But if you're basically saying, hey, money is a tool, money can be used to help people, it can be used to help fulfill my financial dreams as well as the dreams of others, can be a very, very positive thing. So you have to, if you feel like rich people or money itself is evil, then you will never become wealthy. Number 2 up here is that the toxic belief is that I didn't come from money. I didn't come from a wealthy family, right? Some people think, oh, you've got to come from money. This idea of you were born with this is my silver spoon here, if you like. It's a silver spoon. Somebody has a silver spoon in their mouth. They're born that way. And this mindset can lead to becoming a victim, that you don't have it, your family didn't have it, you'll never have it, and it will never change, and that's just the way it is, and it's this really down at the mouth, kind of sad, well, I'm never going to get there. Well, Fidelity actually did a study on this, on millionaires, and they found that actually really some shocking results that I thought were just astounding. They found that 88% of millionaires are actually self-made. And I want you to think about that. 88% of people that are millionaires they didn't inherit it, they didn't necessarily come from a wealthy family, but they were able to become wealthy themselves. So that's almost 90%, almost 9 out of 10 people that are millionaires became that way on their own. So again, this is something people are finding, and again, you can stay in a limiting thing of like, oh, I didn't come from money, and these are the reasons why I'm not wealthy, these are the reasons why I'm not getting there, and it really comes down to what Carol Dweck was saying with a fixed mindset, that it's just never going to change. You have to change that belief that things can change, you can learn more, you can earn more, you can get there. So that's the second toxic belief. The third one really is that hard work equals more money. Now, we all know somebody that works super hard. They work 60, 80 hours a week. They're this person right here. Again, I'm an artist, so please comment on my artwork, how much you love it or hate it. But basically, we think that by working hard, we are going to become wealthy. And it's just not true. Now, it's not that you don't have to work hard or you shouldn't work hard. It's just that hard work alone does not lead to wealth. If you're making minimum wage, if you're doing a job, you're working overtime, whatever, that's fine. But again, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to become wealthy. So really what you have to do is you have to try to find a way to work smart. You know, the light bulb is a light bulb. Light bulb has to go on, and you have to try to find it like an aha moment. It's like, okay, this is an opportunity here where I can actually work hard and work smart, and I can start to develop, maybe I make money in my business, I make money in my job, and then I put it into passive income. I find ways for that money to be able to go and find other friends, other dollars, and bring them back. And that's how truly financial freedom works, is when you become more passive. So it's not just hard work that gets you to more money, it's really working smart. Effort is important, but it's the right type of effort. There is this belief that efficiency, everybody's got to be efficient every moment, every day's got to be full. But there's something that's different than efficiency. It's called effectiveness, right? The idea that you're doing the right activities. It's not just being busy doing stuff and filling the day with every kind of thing. No, you have to do the right activities. So you're doing a right activity by watching this video. Please go ahead and smash that like button. It really helps us to share this with other people. And we're going to talk about the actions or the habits that are harmful, that may be keeping you from becoming wealthy. All right, this is step number 2, bad money habits, things that you're doing that actually could be keeping you poor and preventing you from becoming wealthy. So it's not just that we have these beliefs that are correct about money, or that we say, hey, I want to do this, or I want to become wealthy. It's actually the actions that we're taking. Because if you're taking actions that are not actually headed the way that you say you want to go, you're not living a consistent life, and you won't become wealthy. So the first thing really comes down to bad habits is the idea of spending versus investing. And there's this quote by Jim Rohn that says the rich invest what they have and they spend what's left over, versus the poor will spend what they have and invest what's left over. So it's the order you do it, right? The rich invest first, and then they spend what's left over. And the poor will spend, and then if there's anything left over, they'll invest that. And that might sound very subtle, but it's actually really, really important, because it has to do with priorities. It has to do with what comes first. What do you do first? If you can grow your investments, if you can grow your income, if you can just live within your means, you're going to become wealthy over time, because you're putting things in the right order. So poor people, bad habits, typically more debt, you get more cars, you get a house, you get more fancy trips, and a lot of times debt is used to get these things. And these are the things that keep people poor. Now, it's not that you should never go on a trip or you shouldn't buy a new car. I mean, it's just like I just recently bought a new car. I'm going on a trip to Iceland coming up. I actually don't own a house. I have a bunch of multifamily real estate, but I don't own a house. I rent a house. Well, why would you do that? It's because I'm doing this first. I'm investing first. I'm putting all of my resources, almost all of my resources, to invest, and then on the backside of that is I can spend what's left over. So getting that, if you have that incorrect as far as the order, then you will continue to stay poor. Number two, bad habit, this is you don't take risks. So if you're someone who you love certainty, you just simply feel like you have to keep things the way they are, you can't go out and look for things with upside, you're never going to get where you want to go. And what I mean by that is if you look at a very safe, secure job, right? Government jobs are known as very safe, secure jobs. Typically they come with, really good hours, there's good pay or, maybe modest pay, but you get, a lot of benefits, you get retirement, you get pensions, all this kind of stuff. But the idea is there's not really much upside, right? You're there, but you're not really getting any upside. Well, this belief and kind of the strong need for security is actually going to keep you from becoming wealthy. And I want you to, before you just check this off or you work for government thing, you can work for the government and then invest and do other things. But if you're simply that everything has to be a high degree of certainty and there's no upside, you're never going to get where you want to go financially and you'll never become wealthy. So it's been said the only certainty in life is death and taxes, which, obviously everybody dies. I will say taxes, there is some option on how much taxes you will pay. And we did a video on this on how we significantly reduce taxes for individuals, wealthy professionals through multifamily real estate, something called cost segregation, which is really neat. You can check out that video up here. And again, it will help you to be educated on that. So number two is that if you don't take risks, then you'll never get there. And so I wanted to talk real quick about step number three, which is similar to this one, but it really has to do with, instead of risk, it has to do with, you don't get out and you don't network. You're not meeting new people that are doing different things, that have different ideas. It's amazing what happens when I go to a conference, and I typically go to at least 12 conferences a year. I'm going to meetups, I'm going to mastermind groups that I pay to be a part of. And I just get introduced to all kinds of different ideas. And the most important thing, I'm around other wealthy people and I learn from them. I learn what they're doing, what they're avoiding, what things like that. And if you don't actually go, again, you can have every intention to want to go, to say, oh, I intend to do this, or I believe I should be around people that are wealthy. But it's the idea that you're really out networking, and this is typically beyond your family. If you come from a family that's not wealthy, maybe in your family there's people you need to talk to because they are wealthy, but you can learn a lot from being around wealthy people. But again, the bad habits are people that do not do this. So it is really important that what you look at, what your actions actually are and not just what you're saying you want. So for step number three here, I'm going to go over the strategies that I used to be able to 10x my net worth and that I believe you can use too to be able to do the same for you. All right. So this is wealth habit number three. So I call these wealth habits. So the first thing that you're going to do if you want to become wealthy, you want to 10x your net worth, you want to get to the next level, you have to have some different strategies than what you've been doing before. So the first thing is you have to learn from people that are wealthy and successful. So you got to get around people that think differently, that are at the next level. That's like the number one thing I would say you can do is just get around people that are doing what it is you want to do, that are financially free, that are living the life that you'd like to live. Now, how do you get around these people? You can't just, maybe your family's not wealthy, you don't have relatives, maybe you do, then that's great. So definitely ask them questions, but you want to learn, you want to get around people. And so the ways to do that are you go to local meetups. So meetup.com is a way you can find different investing events, real estate, other types of events. You can basically go to conferences. There's all kinds of conferences. Like I said, I go to a lot of investing conferences. I go to a lot of different things to really help me get around people that are very successful. And you can also find, when you do find somebody maybe in your neighborhood or your area that is successful, wealthy, just take them to coffee and say, hey, I'd really love to hear your story. And a lot of people that are successful, they really like giving back. They like trying to be able to help others on their journey as well. So again, you don't want to be someone who just takes from them all the time. You want to try to add value to them as well. But again, a lot of people love telling their story so they can basically help to get where they would want to go. So there's a saying by Jim Rohn that says you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So for example, if you are overweight and you're saying, I want to lose weight, but all of your friends and family or everybody is overweight and you have certain habits of eating and inactivity and other things, if you want to become in shape, typically the best way to do it is you get around people that are healthy, that are in shape, maybe they're training for a race or doing something different, and you start going out to eat with them. They're going to eat different things. Try eating what they eat. If they eat the salad, you get the salad. If they're walking around, they're doing different activities, they're going to talk about things that are important to them. And what happens is over time, something happens that you begin to just be influenced by the people that are around you. So How that works with wealth is really, again, the habits that wealthy people have are different. And so the things that they're reading, the things that they're doing, the things that they're interested in are very different than what typically people that are not wealthy are interested in. So it's not mystical. It's just if you haven't grown up with it, if it's not your family, then you're not going to know those things. So you got to get around people that really are there doing those things. So the idea of really being a learner, right? That's come up. We talked about a fixed mindset. We talked about really having somebody who has a growth mindset, who's willing to learn and willing to grow. So guys like Mark Cuban, Bill Gates, and Warren Buffett, they typically read like 2 hours a day, which is just like, I remember I heard that, I was like, that's insane. The average CEO will typically read at least a book a week. And so I made a goal for myself last year of like, how can I read more? So I said, I want to read 52 books. And I actually ended up with 87 books, which I was kind of floored. And there's kind of two ways that I did it. One is I would read a little bit, particularly personal growth or investing books in the evening, 10, 20 minutes at night. And then I would listen to audiobooks, particularly biographies, because they were more of a story while I'd be driving or I'd be working out, and you can speed those up to go faster as well. So those are a couple of tips to be able to read more. And I love this quote, from The Matrix, where Neo gets up and he says, after he's been uploaded with this new knowledge, and he says, I know Kung Fu.
I know Kung Fu. Show me.
And it's just that idea of like, just because you don't know it now doesn't mean you can't learn it. So just be open to being around other people, learn from other people. The second thing that I would say that is really an awesome wealth habit is to really be doing low-risk experiments. And you may think, well, what is a low-risk experiment? You talked about you need to take risk earlier. What does that mean? Well, a low-risk experiment, Manish Prabhaya in this book, you can see him up here in his book, he talks about the idea of having a low downside. So the idea of heads, I win, so I can win big, but tails, I don't lose much. So the loss, it's not exactly a parallel. Exactly, you make this much, and then if it doesn't go, you lose this much. There are a lot of investments or things you can do just by simply putting a little bit of time in, maybe a little bit of money, and if it goes well, the upside is huge. So how do you find those things? What I used to do is on Friday afternoons at my corporate job, I would take Friday afternoons off. I would go to Starbucks. And if you have a job that's flexible, you can do that. But I would basically just brainstorm all different ways to try to make money. Could I, bring cars in and try to find a way to resell them? Could I wholesale, commercial, construction products on Craigslist? I also try to look and say, maybe I could. I had bought a dental mouth guard, and maybe I could manufacture these mouth guards. I could find a way to do it. So I had all these ideas, and eventually settled on multifamily investing. But the idea of really giving yourself space to think is really important. Henry Ford had a quote about, he's like, some of my best work is really thinking. Thinking itself is hard work. So you've got to give yourself space and time. It's not high risk to think, but to be able to find things that you can do, that you can be involved with, you can pursue different opportunities. A lot of them you won't get paid for, but you'll hopefully learn along the process, which is very important. Right now I'm doing this flip. I've never really done a flip before. I've told you guys I'm a multifamily guy. I love doing multifamily investing. I have a buddy who runs a property management company, says, hey, we've got this condo in the Los Angeles area. It's $550,000. We're gonna put $30K into it, and basically we're gonna try to sell it for $725,000. So I'm bringing some money into that. We'll be able to split. We'll be able to make a lot of money. Hopefully the biggest risk on this is really the amount of time that we're going to have the property, which is hopefully only going to be 1 to 2 months. It should take us about a month to do the work, and hopefully another month to be able to sell it. At least at the time of this video, the market is pretty hot. So I look at that as being kind of a lower risk, but potentially high return deal. So those are things that are really important. But again, it's stuff that really you're able to maybe use your time and maybe able to invest your time to be able to learn or be able to network in different ways to be able to grow. So the final thing I want to say is really the idea that we continue to talk about is the idea of saving and investing first. So as the wealthy save and invest first, and then they spend what's left over. So I want to give you a couple examples. We talk about this Ricky Bobby quote that if you're not first, you're last, right? So if you're not investing first, then it's never going to happen, right? It's just never going to happen. So the idea of like, if you made $150,000 a year, again, this is an example, you may make more, you may make less, but if you made $150,000, you were able to save $50,000 a year. You say, Bronson, that's a lot of, how can you save $50,000 if you only make $150,000? How can you do that? Well, you cut your expenses. You save money however you can. If you can do that and invest $50K each year over the next 5 years, and you're able to get a 15% return per year. Now, I want you to say, before you say, I don't know, how can I get a 15% return? I'm going to show you in a second. But over 5 years, you would end up with $437,000 at the end of 5 years, and this would be $65,000 per year in passive income. And that's amazing, because maybe that could be close to enough to cover your living expenses, and this continues to grow. Even if you stop investing, it continues to grow and pay you more, which is really amazing. So if you're concerned about how do you get 15% per year, you can check out this video that talks about how to 17x your retirement returns by investing in multifamily passively, and the video talks about how you do that. And but anyway, check out that video. And then, we talked about, if you're not first, you're last, buying assets first, not going out and buying the car, the house, the trips, the whatever it is, really investing in assets first, because those are the things that are going to make you wealthy. Ken McElroy, who's just an awesome guy, I got to spend some time with him recently, have dinner with him. He was telling a story about how he, when he wanted to buy a new Ferrari, he's a multifamily guy, wanted to buy a new Ferrari, and he said, but I want to try to find an asset or find a way to pay for it. So, he has enough money to go buy a Ferrari, but he was trying to find a way to have an asset be able to pay for his luxury. So the idea of using assets to buy luxuries. So what he did is he basically found this billboard somewhere, he didn't say where it was, but he found this billboard that basically came in, and he somehow, put a new billboard on it, or he redid or got a new contract with it, and he was able to dramatically increase the revenue to about $3,000 a month. And then of this particular property, he was able to split it into two sections and sell off the pieces that were not part of where the billboard was. So he kept the billboard, he sold off these two pieces for about what he paid for the property. And so he basically was no real money into this, and he was getting $3,000 a month from this billboard, which is really incredible. And you say, well, how does that even work? How does that exist? Well, again, if you're willing to look, you're willing to do these low-risk experiments to be able to find deals, you're able to find them. So he's got this $3,000 a month that he's able to use to be able to go buy his, he has the cash flow to support to buy that luxury. And hopefully over time, that $3,000 will continue to increase because it is an asset. So anyway, I just wanted to say for you, for watching this video, I just wanted to give you a couple of encouragements here that you can do it. You can get to where you want to go. You can 10x your net worth. You can become wealthy, but it really starts in here. It starts in your mind, believing that you're able to do it. It begins with changing your actions, getting around people that are wealthy, learning from them, and really saving and investing first. So kudos to you for getting this far. If you made it this far, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. We'll get you the newest content as soon as it's available. And I want to see in the comments, what is it that you find is really keeping you from reaching your financial goals or becoming wealthy? So write that down there. We'll look forward to seeing you on the next video.